already. Today is the 2nd of June. Just now is Labor Day. Then we're going to have Emancipation Day, Independence, Republic Day. Then we're going down to Christmas. So people will start this thing right. Hi Roxanne, yes to see you. I missed you on Friday. Hi Miss Yvette. Hi Miss Maria. Hi Kenneth. And all those who will locked on and will lock on and will tune in to we talk the thing. Thank you. Hi Denise. Thank you all for always coming and hang with me. Hi Christopher. Thank you for coming to hang with this bad big mouth woman who has she platform to talk. Thank you all so much. I love you all dearly. Hi Hadara. I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I'll honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, my elders, and those in authority. I'll be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. And I'll strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country. Hi, Sha. Tell people look on because this big mouth woman who feels she bad, I have something to say. So we started. Hi, Pascal. So we started this thing one time. So I am seeing where I want to tell Dwight York and the men's football team, don't give up. Keep hope alive. We believe in you. Believe in all yourself, and the rest will be history. Only will make it happen, despite the challenges and setbacks we all had recently. All that is a part of it. There's winning and there's losing. Somebody has to lose, somebody has to win. Make sure the next time that you're all on the side of winning. Also, want to congratulate again what's his name? Oh Lord, we run out. Richards, our runner. Oh, what's his first name out there? He's a dream. That's the one we just call it dream, right? Again, he's mixing it up and shaking it up and winning those games out there. So we begin the dance, and I'm also seeing in Trinidad Express, Cole Scissors in Lendo's 400. So Joshua Cole give a command performance in the boys under 20 400 meters event at the Alpine Wildcats Dion Lendo Track Classic at Hazy Crawford Stadium, Mucurapo on Saturday. With no challenger in sight, Cole took on the clock crossing the line in 46.80 seconds, with the meet being staged in honor of the late quarter miler Lendo. Cole's performance was fitting. Like Lendo, the under 20 one-lap winner is a product of both Albion and Queen's Royals College. Lendo will have been proud of Cole. There was goal 2 for Albion in the men's 100-meter finals. Jaden D'Souza winning in 10.62 seconds. And in the qualifying round, he clocked a win-aided 10.28 to lead all qualifiers into the championship race. D'Souza produced a 20.59 run in the 200 meter to complete the men's sprint double. Sierra Joseph was golden in the women's 100. The simplex sprinter separated herself from the field for a comfortable victory in a win-assisted 11.66 seconds. Elijah Joseph finished first in second one and first overall in the men's 400 meter. The Mountain Eagles athlete grabbing the goal in 47.38 seconds. Section 3. So the first one is Section 1, that is Elijah Joseph. Section 3, though was not the most competitive, Kirill Thomas stopped in the field for silver in the event. Dashawn Lezama, second to Thomas in the Section 3, bragged bronze. Thomas led a race coming off the final bend and kept Lezama at a safe distance for the duration of their home stretch run, crossing the line in 47.44 seconds to win the section. Lezama clocked 47.59. So congratulations to all those athletes who took part in the Lendo's, what's it called? In the Lendo's track classic. Remember, John Lendo would have died tragically. He was one of our athletes who was really doing well. So he would have named this, apparently this classic, this what do you call it, these heats, or this track and field event in his honor. So congratulations to all the winners, and that they keep going from strength to strength. I'm seeing here that Cheryl Bowles from Shamir is celebrating a 40 years journey, and everybody should know Cheryl. Back in the day, she's Cheryl Bowles. Back in the day, she used to wear hair with a high top kind of afro kind of thing on the two sides down, and she would have successfully used our local products to make her hair products. Herbarium. It was herbarium, and then now she have spa, and she have all her beauty products and stuff. So she make a lot of hair products and things from natural oils, from ratchet and things like that. So she doing well, and see she's celebrating 40 years. I myself would have used her services, Shomer and Cipriani Boulevard people. I tell you all, go get your massages, your pedicures, your manicure, your waxing, the eyebrow done and everything. The customer service is on point. You feel very valuable as a customer. There are times that you get a lot of offers, prices and offers cut, and you get what do you call this thing? Like when you get 50% off, 25% off, all that. But the customer service is great. I visited the one at Cipriani Boulevard, and I'm quite certain that all the other branches that they have, that the service is just as good. So congratulations to them, Ms. Cheryl Bowles and her team, and the continued work that you continue to do in the interest of beauty care, and also putting our name out there using our own local products too. So that's what I saw there. Ooh, look, my notes quite across on this side, yes. So let me continue, because I had to get to something. Oh, you know, I had to get to something because my mouth big. So on Saturday, it was supposed to be a show with the headliner being Vybz Kartel. Well, let's call him the world boss. And people my age and thing may not really know Vybz Kartel, you know, that kind of thing. I know Vybz Kartel because I'm into the music and drama there, but I never really listened to his music as such. However, I know he's a big hit with the young ones, and his lyrics that stir people, you know, them young ones and them are the fire kind of, you know, business kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it is an expression, right? And art is about self-expression. What I do as art and put it out there and create my piece, it may not be appeasing to everybody else because art is very subjective. So there are a lot of him and her about Vybz Kartel coming to Trinidad. You know, he was in jail for, I think, some murder or something like that. He spent some years in jail, and he was free. However, he was free. In my business, I wasn't in the courthouse. I didn't give evidence. I wasn't his lawyer. I wasn't the prosecuting lawyer. I ain't no court, right? He was freed. So the Minister of National Homeland Defense, or Defense Minister, something, Defense Minister, Minister Wayne Surge, would have had issues, I guess, with the fact that Carter was coming to Trinidad, and the fact that his promoters would have booked him to go to schools, to talk to the children, and radio stations and all that. And there's some question about his music, and then the minister went on to tell us intimately about Carter's case in Jamaica, and how he come off, and how he didn't get off, and how he this, and whatever. And there was some concerns of him going to visit the schools and the radio station and all that. So his movements were curtailed, and then it had back and forth and back and forth. Finally, Vice Cartel, it come no way. I also understand Sizzler also did not perform, and some other artists didn't perform. So what people pay their money for, they get a watered-down show. So this is what Cartel had to say. So yesterday in the news, it says Cartel defends no show at Trinidad concert. Jamaican dancehall artist Adija Vice Cartel Palmer provided a social media explanation for his last-minute cancellation as the featured act in the One Caribbean Music Festival held on May the 31st. In an Instagram post that evening, Carter told fans and others concerned about issues with concert promoters JACHO Entertainment. In the post, he said, promoters of the Trinidad show, this is how they write it, so I ain't trying to be no yardie people. That is how they write it actually as he speak it. So in a post, he said, promoters for the Trinidad show, member years Menoya, remember when you forward initially for the show, my lawyers was there. Remember the signing was recorded. Remember the money where you're talking about, the legal team are out on my money it forward. Remember you a ball, and me I say, TJ, me know how long time, me know him long time, give him a blind. Carter said his manager, TJ, reluctantly gave the promoter a chance. He missed deadline after that deadline, and Carter begged his manager to give him a chance, the Grammy-nominated artist said in a post. Carter said he was brought into loggerheads with the TT government because of the promoter's insistence that he visit a school or a youth center. Me never tell you, say, me want do no school. My job is to perform for the people. Me is an entertainer. Me get paid to entertain. He added the promoter wanted to host the event during Carnival, and he was amongst many who advised the promoter not to do so. Don't mess with the culture. Carnival, Trinidad thing, let them do their thing. Teacher tell you fi don't do it. Angostura tell you fi don't do it. Cartel tell you fi don't do it. Many told the promoter not to do it and forced the issue until he saw it could not work, Carter said. This would just put him at loggerheads with the culture, Carter said. The artist said the promoters needed to tell the people that he just could not manage the Cartel show. Carter said his only regret was that the promoters robbed TNT people of the chance to see him after so many years. Carter apologized to the TNT people and government and blamed himself in some ways because every promoter could manage. It's not every promoter could manage Cartel because it takes a lot. The post received many responses and comments, including one from fellow dancehall artist Grace Spice Hamilton. She said, "Fee get Addy in your city that a couple millions US dollars and it can't fit in your billy." Laughing emoji. Promoters take a lot, and that is at that. Anything Mr. Palmer say, at that we are work with. So that is coming from Jamaica. Jamaican artists don't play, whether they sing dance or reggae, hula, whatever other things and things, them don't play. Them just stick together. So we have now, when people hear the money that cartel was getting, no, me ain't getting into that. The Minister of Finance jump out. I don't know why government getting into this, I don't know. The government jump out, the Minister of Finance jump out, and he wants investigation. Let me see what he gets an investigation into. And then I will tell you something when I finish. Oh God, what the thing, what the thing, what the thing. I look at thing, I look at thing, I look at thing, I look at thing, I look at thing. Oh yes. Hey, we told you all. We said on April the 29th, who do you all want answering the phone? Stuart Richard Young or Kamala Prasad Bisesa? So this is Dave Tanko, the man who say that people who pay the income tax, they will get back a refund. And then the Prime Minister to tell him, where you get any money from me? Never say so. Okay. Probe into cartel pay. Tanko look into artists US $950,000 forex fee as fans demand money back after concert fiasco. This was in the Guardian 19 hours ago. Finance Minister Ravindranath Thakur says he's intrigued by the amount of foreign exchange being mentioned in relation to payment fees for artists involved in the One Caribbean Music Festival and has requested an investigation. This even as the negative fallout from Dija Vice Cartel Palmer and other foreign acts pulling out of the event continued yesterday. According to the event's organizers, Vibes Cartel had received US $950,000 of a contractually obligated US $1.3 million before his decision to pull out of the concert due to their failure to meet the contractual agreement. Cartel Jamaican countryman Sizzla Kalonji, Mali Don, and Rivesian, as well as Ghanaian American singer Molly, also pulled out of the event for similar contractual issues. Contacted yesterday for a comment on the issue of the organizers being unable to secure US currency to complete payment to cartel and the figure being not touted due to the forex issue the country is experiencing, Tanko said. I'm also intrigued by the amount of foreign exchange being mentioned in the media report as having been involved in this venture, and I expect in other similar ventures. I have requested the Ministry of Finance to investigate and report on the very question he raised. He added, just to be clear, this is a fact-finding effort. Our Prime Minister and government is fully supportive of private sector development of foreign exchange generators, including the commercialization of the music and entertainment industry towards greater contribution to our country's gross domestic product. We will share the result of this inquiry when we get it. And while there is no report of any financial impropriety, Acting Commissioner Police Junior Benjamin believes the matter warrants an investigation, particularly given the fact that one of the main promoters has a pending criminal charge. It might be something of great concern, and this is something I would probably want to engage them, Financial Intelligence Bureau and Financial Intelligence Unit, to see exactly what is our take on the matter as it relates to the situation. But I can say that there is no report before us to work with in relation to that. He added, but nevertheless, these are things that, again, we are going to look at based on the information that we have received, in the media and other places. And again, I would engage the FBI to see if there's anything there for us to look at. And they continue, 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 right? So, the concert went ahead, lopsided. And now Tango and them want to look into the US money. Okay. Let me continue. My thing is not what you do, it's how you do it. And to me, this country government started off how they do it in a way that could create unnecessary issues. That's just me. So this is what some of the patrons have to say.
How disappointed I was when the Evans Carter was coming again.
You really want me to tell you? Well, I hope Cartel watching tonight.
And I expected from the first time. I think with the thing with the ministers were just saying pertaining to going to the schools and radio station. I think that was a sort of discomfort to me. I think any artist that travel the world, regardless if they went to go to a school or radio station, is a sense of publicity, is a sense of giving the people in the country assurance that, well, okay, I hear and I come to hear, a big performance. So I think the dull moment start from since then.
And really and truly, I blame the government because they're putting real restriction started from when Surge and Kamala. She want to give man logimatic so we can't hear a gun song, right? What kind of thing is that, right? I want to know why Cartel is not here. I spent all my money to see Cartel and he's not here. I was really, really, really disappointed.
You're disappointed at all? I wasn't coming. My team was outside. I misled my team.
Yes, I was a bit disappointed. However, there are other artists that I'm also excited to see.
What the promoter is supposed to do in an instance like that, because some people pay big money to come to see the show, and then failure.
Well, failure the promoter, but he was some hard calculating head bad telling you,
But you would want a partial or full refund since you get the full experience that was advertised? Yeah, I think so. I think it's only fair seeing that it's like the second time public had a butcher that I think it's only fair.
Now I don't want my money because there are other people, other entertainers. Yeah. So I like, if I'm getting a refund, a partial refund, no problem. Why not? Actually, yes, I was expecting that, but they didn't go for that. So, however, we have to come out. But it is very disappointing because the next thing is they took the ticket so that you can't get a refund. So they take that very stupid, but however, I'm smart.
You think a little bit, yeah?
Long time. I wasn't going to come here and because I can't get a refund, I don't spend my money. I don't come and see what. But we blame we in search by
So that's some of the patrons there. And there was some incident also where, the strange thing as the youth man say, the Honorable Prime Minister, when she was in opposition, she got on a stage and was playing Trinidad music. She liked Trinidad music, and she was telling people, knock it, cock it, rock it back, and knock it again, and all that. She's the head. She was the opposition leader. Same opposition leader, now she's the government, and now they have a problem with gun song that, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm seeing here that there's going to be a probe into, this is Guardian, Commissioner of Police orders probe into beating of a concert patron. This was 20 hours ago. Acting Police Commissioner Junior Benjamin says he expects a report into an incident in which officers were caught on tape beating a man during the One Music Festival at the end of today. Benjamin said he ordered investigations in the interest of transparency after it surfaced on social media. I know what is seen seems to be a little bit excessive, and that's beyond the use of force policy. I spoke with the GOLD commander, acting ACP Gavin Henry, as well as the senior superintendent in charge of the Guard and Emergency Branch, GEB. I think that there is a level of transparency. There's a level of transparency that we must operate by, and also a level of professionalism. I told the senior superintendent of the GEB that there's a need for investigation to be done, and he also agreed. He cautioned the public that while they may have been upset over the absence of most of the Jamaican acts, they should not have engaged in unruly behavior. We also want to encourage persons in the future, that we seek not to be as disruptive, because these are the things that really bring a level of disorder and lawlessness. And the police service, we would not tolerate that level of disruption, especially in a concert or any other thing. There's a way, if you are disgruntled, to deal with matters, and we are saying whether you like it or not, whether you take it to the court or not, that is what we are saying you need to do. But do not show any form of disruption where you want to damage people's property. Benjamin said there were 2 arrests at the end of the concert, but could not save the man. The man seen beaten was one of them. In response to the video, Police Complaints Authority Director David West said he was aware of the video but was awaiting more information before making any comment. Meanwhile, former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith said the video showed the officers backward on trained policing. In a media post, he said anything like this in a professional police service, and these officers would be suspended immediately. How could these men be in a tactical unit and not understand the use of force policy? If the individual broke the law or was a serious threat and could not be controlled, you don't go jabbing and swinging battles and kicking him as if it was two drunk men fighting in a bar. Griffith suggested that to suppress him, the officers should have brought him to the ground and handcuff him or use pepper spray. This action was more of anger than to suppress the suspect, who, by the way, was seen as not being confrontational and hence not being a threat. It is when these stupid actions take place by 2 rogue, untrained officers in an elite unit. This contributes to why public confidence in the police service was 59% just a few years ago, when this type of ignorant behavior would have resulted in immediate action taken. So, to it, now being less than 10%, as most are sure that this action would be ignored if not accepted. Real thing happened over the weekend. So, the promoters and them, like they have some organization, but everybody have organization, yes, to represent them. The only people in have a good organization to represent them is public officers. I see the dotage girl taking credit for toppling the PNN. Let me tell you, she dotage till dotage they even want to see she. Till dotage they even want to see she. So, hi Shelton. Hi Marilyn. So I am seeing that the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association has distanced itself from the organizers of the controversial One Music Festival, and is now calling for sweeping legislation reform in the entertainment and tourism sector, labeling current moment pivotal. So just a little piece of that. So this was in Facebook, CNC3. In a statement issued Monday, the association expressed deep concern over the fallout from the event, which featured Vybz Kartel and other major acts, but has drawn widespread criticism. It should have been, but had. In a statement issued on Monday, the association expressed deep concern over the fallout from the event, which featured Vybz Kartel and other major acts, but has drawn widespread criticism from patrons and stakeholders. The TTPA stressed out that the event producer is not a member of the association. To be clear, we do not speak for the group, nor do we speak on behalf of the group, the TTPA said. So the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association said. However, we want to say at all times, it is our hope that events held on our shores are executed successfully. When that does not happen, it impacts the whole industry. While offering solidarity to disappointed fans, the TTPA also used the opportunity to advocate for urgent policy change. This event was not up to our standards, and About this, we are extremely concerned. The statement read, we believe it is time to broaden dialogue with the state and our private sector groups. Okay, so that is them, they talking. We go here, or probably not here. What comes of that? But I want you all to take a listen to this. This is our own Terry Lyons and what she had to say. Very interesting.
Artists of the Caribbean know all your words. Know all your words and stand on business. Stand on business. And then to some of the, more the well-known artists, the mid, know that some of the decisions that all you make, just trickle down. I don't want no promoter to be calling me and telling me what price all you do it for. Because I give my price and they telling me that an artist that is bigger than me did it to next to nothing. No Hollywood. We can't be talking about culture and the betterment of culture and all you just pipering it down. Is a piper scene going on. I don't want nobody else calling me to tell me to perform for no 400 US and then telling me that an artist who have more hits than me doing it for 800 or did it for them for 800. The most insulting part is not that they're offering me a 500 or a 400 US, is that the artist whose song played, my song doesn't really play on radio, but the artist whose song Earl played, doing it for 800 US. Because he's studying, well, if I do it for 800 US and I do like 5 shows, I'm coming back with. But if we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. No Hollywood. Time to make we culture and we music be just as gold. Calypso and soca to Trinidad is as reggae and dancehall to Jamaica. No Hollywood. Stand up behind all the thing and say, this is gold, this is how much we gold costs, and stand up to it. And the artists who like to undermine and be like, that is how much you doing it for? But I go do it for less. Stop it! Because the decisions that we make today, the honor that we have today will benefit us in the future. No, you won't.
Right? And I too agree with her. Because here money that Vice Cartel, a promoter offer Vice Cartel, me have explored that. The man call the price, he know he worth, he call the price, take it or leave it. And if Calypso and Soca is the thing and we have big known artists and all that, and all they taking small money, imagine when an entertainer, an ex-entertainer who probably not in all their class, know their worth and call the price, and had to be told, hey, you call not that big money, look so do it for this, The drama go come there and as she say, you call the price, ting. Person call and say, that what they doing it for, I could do it less than that. All I think is cut up thing. All you look at the money that Vice Cartel asks for, because the man know he worth. If you can't pay that, I just ain't perform. Local artists, Trinidad and Tobago artists, I join in with Miss Terry Lyons and say, all they know, all they worth. Stop selling, all they sell short. Them Jamaicans and them don't stick with the paper. They don't stick with standing up together as one. They go have the kuchu and bacchanal between themselves. When you see them come out there, you touch one yardie, you touch all. That's how them does do it. Okay? And you can't vex with them. That is how you have to do it. Stand up and defend yours in with rights, honor, equal rights and justice. Right? I want to tell this government and the citizens of this country, you all might just see this situation what happened with Vibes Carter and them on the yard, the music, and then young people like this music. But let me tell you, these things have serious implications. You all remember in 2015 when the PNM came into office, because a Kamala possessor, the special possessor saying, when she was Prime Minister, that Trinidad because that's an ATM machine. Coming out of that, Jamaica started to pull off all the goods off their shelf. Them don't play. And Jamaica is the Caribbean country. The CARICOM CSMA does buy a large percentage of we manufacture goods. And they were pulling them off the shelf. That would have meant people in the manufacturing sector in this country would have to go home. Businesses would have been out of compliance. They would have to try now to look for other markets to buy the goods that Jamaica was pulling off the shelf. And when Dr. Keith Christopher Rowland, the PNM, came in 2015, he had to fly out to Jamaica and settle this and all was well. All the UNC, all they go on again. Or let's start off with the Minister of Defense. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Vive Cartel is not no small fry in Jamaica. Sizzler is not no small fry in Jamaica. You see Spice come out and talk, she ain't no small fry in Jamaica. Well, them I just feel this as music. This could go to the next level. Okay, we ask all, who all want to answer the phone April the 28th. And some are all they take chain up with people going around and telling all they don't vote for Stewart on the PNM, don't mind if we lost, we go bounce back. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, okay. I'm coming to that, I'm coming down. Because my mouth big. So, this is some news with America. Only thing is, football and soccer is not the same thing in America. I don't know if President Trump don't understand what is FIFA and what is football. Listen to this.
Breaking news, the 2026 World Cup might be taken away from the United States, and it's all being blamed on President Trump. FIFA is now facing a massive logistical nightmare after receiving thousands of complaints from players, coaches, and fans refusing to travel to the U.S. The reason? Trump's harsh immigration policies have sparked fear, tension, and international backlash. Some athletes and staff say they're worried about being detained or deported, even with valid visas. Fans across the globe are calling the U.S. unsafe for hosting such a massive event like the World Cup. The situation has become so heated that several countries are now threatening to boycott the tournament if it stays in the U.S., something that goes completely against the unifying spirit of football. With the pressure mounting, FIFA is seriously considering moving the event to Mexico and Canada, seen as safer, more welcoming alternatives. The U.S., originally planned as the main host, now risks losing the biggest sports event on earth to a crisis that has nothing to do with football and everything to do with politics. Could the American dream turn into a diplomatic disaster? Drop your comment and share this update.
Okay. Guys, our next bacchanal again. People on the football and FIFA and all that. That is a money-making thing, Okay. So we see that happening. I've seen that the Minister of Energy, Dr. Rudra Munilal, is welcoming mentor. Yes, well, you don't have a choice. I don't understand why you're operating as if you have a choice in the matter. Excuse me. Everything will be reaping now is what the PNM under Dr. Rowley and Minister Stuart Young, who was the former Minister of Energy, the work he would have done. And that's what we were telling earlier. All the hard work that Minister Stuart Young would have done in the energy sector when the UNC left the energy sector in shambles, nothing wasn't coming from it. They negotiated no deal other than the one with Japan, where we had to pay them, I think, US 900 million or billion TT dollar, US dollars. And when Dr. Rowley came into office, he and Minister Sioting had to fly out to Japan to let them know we can't pay that money because that would have taken me straight to the IMF, and it was negotiated by against Sioting, SC, and we were averted that disaster, and he continued to do the work. So all that Dr. Munilal is talking with welcome this and they getting this and all that was the hard work, not of the UNC, not of Munilal, but of Minister Sioting in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago. So 2 days ago, the Energy Minister, Munilal, this was in the Guardian, said the news of first gas has been delivered from the mental development is welcome. And in a short statement, the Energy Minister congratulates BP and EOC on the first gas from Mexico. And in the context of natural gas shortage, we find ourselves in, any new production is welcome. First gas from Mento represents the culmination of many years of work by BPTT and EOG, including seismic research done some 10 years ago. You hear? At least he was honest to say that this work was done 10 years ago, so it's under the tenure of the People's National Movement, not the UNC. And the hard work was only from BP and EOG. Because if Minister Sioting was not able to negotiate proper contracts, we would not be benefiting the way we were. And Minister Sioting, at the time, he did tell us when we should expect first gas. So it is all there on a page for everybody to see. Thank God he would have chronicled everything, so the UNC can't get away with moving as though it's them. And it's not since them coming in we lucky. Them and make it lucky. The time span of the 10 years since the seismic research and everything was done is within this time now. So don't let them fool all you that it's lucky. The PNM was hiding the gas and holding it back. And oh God. Right. So that is it there. And there's no congratulations for this government and Dr. Rudan Munilal. Congratulations should be going to the People's National Movement. And people were telling him that in the comments. Here comments. Here comments. Like he have a choice in the matter. PNM have them looking like they do something. This is fruits of PNM governance. So a compliment to him is a compliment to the one who deserves it most, Mr. Sioting. Somebody else say. It is so funny that this deal is here and people saying well done. What did he do in his days in office, or was it already in the work? Shaking my head, Trini people, they're real good, yes. And it just goes on I have for about 430 comments, and I basically everybody saying. So let me continue. As fast as I read, let me delete so I don't have too much thing to go through. So I'm also seeing Oando. Well, remember the Nigerian company that was the preferred bidder for the refinery. They were going to put their own money. They were going to restart the refinery, modernize it, everything. And the labor was going to come from Trinidad, and then whatever contractual arrangement in terms of paying corporate taxes and all that would have worked out. Well, Oando is saying, because I haven't heard anything yet. So 7 hours ago in the news day. Hi, Melka. Hi, Colin. Oando PLC, the Nigerian company chosen as a preferred bidder for the lease of the Point-of-Pierre refinery, says it has no updates on its discussion with Trinidad and Tobago to share publicly at this time. The company was responding to an email from the newsday. Oando was announced as a preferred bidder in February by the previous administration. Former Prime Minister and Energy Minister Sioting also said Oando assured it would not hire foreign workers to work in the refinery, and that former Petrotrin workers would be rehired. The UNC heavily criticized the decision back then, citing Oando's financial woes. Newsday emailed Oando on May 13 asking if the new government contacted the company and whether negotiations will continue. No response was provided then. Newsday posed the same question to Energy Minister Dr. Rudan Munilal on May 16, who said the entire process has been put on hold Pending a review of that matter, Wando replied to Newsday email on May 30th saying, "At present, we do not have any updates to share. We will be sure to contact you if there are any developments." Recently, the Oilfield Workers Trade Union partnered with other unions and the Confederation of Regional Business Chambers to see what is necessary for restarting operations at the refinery. Speaking at a press conference on May 29, Prime Minister Kamala Persad said, "We are beginning to assess the reopening of the petroleum refinery." Them feel as that dollar the last time Roger and them lie. I ain't here to say that Minister Stuart Young was Minister of Energy at the time, when in Parliament he would have said that some false document, I ain't saying it word for word, that some false document was given. It was given to up in my way. So apparently, Patriotic, which is Roger and them, would have said something to the effect that some company away, some lending agency was lending them $1 billion as a start to help them to start a refinery and whatever. And when the government check and they check whatever it is, those things were fraudulent. So they couldn't get the money then. And the man who is this confederated chamber and whatever, some Diwala, what is his name? Oh God, the racist man who they call the man all kind of N and N and N. He was the chairman of the CDA, and they had also removing and all them things. He is a part of that. So what a pair, what a dozen, what a whatever. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also seeing that the CCJ, you know, the CCJ, the Caribbean Court of Justice, our own Anna Robinson, God rest his soul, would have been instrumental also in getting the CCJ up and about. So this was in Jamaica Gleaner, and it says here, CCJ hold out and don't know what they are missing. And this was June the 1st, 2025. President Sanders highlights need for homegrown judicial finality. Let me see. Distinguished Caribbean jurist Justice Adrian Saunders, outgoing president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and the Caribbean Court of Justice is right here in Trinidad and Tobago. That could be our final court of appeal right in the Caribbean, that we don't have to go to the colonial masters quite in England for some white people who are not living here and don't know nothing out here again to put their mouth in the business to give the final court of appeal. When we have our own CCJ right here in Trinidad and Tobago, if you walk up Henry Street, I think the entrance there is either on Charlotte Street, but it spans Henry and Charlotte Street. Just after the church there, Rosary's Church, and you're going up here. I think that is where, up in that vicinity up there. So as I was saying, distinguished Caribbean jurist Justin Adrian Saunders, outgoing president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, has reiterated the view that greater regional justice access will be achieved if Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago join the court appellate jurisdiction. Speaking with the Sunday Gleaner last week, Saunders emphasized that while the CCJ would welcome the participation of countries such as Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Kitts and Nevis, it is not fixated on those countries and remains committed to serving its current members with excellence. Saunders said the CCJ strives to be the best court we can be for those countries that use it in its appellate jurisdiction. Those who do not are in a position where, to be quite blunt about it, they don't know what they are missing out on. The CCJ, established in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, was inaugurated on April 16, 2005. Only 5 of the 11 CARICOM member states eligible for the appellate jurisdiction: Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Guyana, and St. Lucia. Currently use the CCJ as their final court of appeal. All 12 signatories to the CCJ agreement, however, fall under its original jurisdiction, which handles disputes involving CARICOM treaty. Asked to comment on remarks made by incoming CCJ President Justice Winston Anderson that Jamaica is legally obligated to join the appellate jurisdiction. Justice Sanders affirmed the statement. It's absolutely true. It is sound and it is the law. Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago both signed, ratified, and incorporated an international treaty that bound these countries to alter their constitutions in order to be a part of the appellate jurisdiction of the CCJ. Neither of those countries have done so. This is a breach of international law, the legal luminary argued. In a candid exchange with UK-based law lords at the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, Sanders recalled telling them, each and every time you hear an appeal from Jamaica or from Trinidad and Tobago or from St. Kitts and Nevis, you are aiding and abetting the breach of a treaty. While acknowledging the Privy Council's position that it continues to hear such cases at the request of those countries and in circumstances where the current law in those states prescribed for these appeals to be made, he insisted that the underlying legal commitment remains unfulfilled. During his 7-year presidency, Sanders oversaw significant technological advancement at the court, including live stream hearings, building on the legacy of his predecessor. These measures, he said, have increased transparency, reduced litigation costs, and improved public trust in the CCJ. Sir Dennis Brighton played a great role in introducing electronic filing in the court, and after he left, we continued to ensure that our stakeholders were able to utilize the benefits of the live streaming of our cases. The ability to hear our cases virtually in ways that ease the cost of litigants and also made justice a lot more accessible, not just as litigants, but to the general public, he highlighted. So, just one more paragraph and I'm good, because you all would have gotten the gist of it. While the court, having heard some very contentious matters from Guyana, which were live streamed, Sanders said this pulled the viewership in the thousand, giving Guyanese national an opportunity to see firsthand how the wheels of justice turn at the highest level. The lawyers addressed the court, they heard the questions the judges asked, and then, when it was time for the judgment to be given, they were able to see the panel of judges deliver the judgment Sanders outlined. Tangible impact citizens. He lamented that countries outside the CCJ appellate jurisdiction often perceive it as distant or abstract and something apart from their daily lives. But in truth, Sanders said it is a living institution that can, after constitutional norms and uphold justice, can alter constitutional norms and uphold justice in ways that tangibly impact citizens. Declaring that he is a staunch believer in Caribbean capacity and potential, Sanders, a native of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, expressed pride in the CCJ's integrity and performance. We are not paradise, we are not utopia. We have problems in the region that we also have capacity and ability, and the CCJ is one of the institutions that I think all Caribbean people could be very proud of. We are being tested in battle. We have done some very sensitive, delicate, difficult cases to address in relation to Guyana, and we have not come up short on any of these tests that have been placed before us, he shared. He praised the Jamaican Bar for its early efforts in helping to ensure that the CCJ institutional architecture was sound and immune from political pressure, making it one of which the region can be proud. And setting judicial precedents, Sanders emphasized the final appeals are not merely about resolving legal dispute, but about setting judicial precedents that shape national jurisprudence. For this reason, he argued, such decisions are best made by judges who understand and shares the cultural context of the people involved, and who are directly affected by the implications of their ruling. Though disappointed that Jamaica hasn't yet joined the appellate jurisdiction, he remains hopeful. I would have liked to have seen it sooner, but again, a lot has to be done with the way in which political contentions are resolved, and that's a matter which the people of Jamaica have to work out for themselves, he added. The timing of Jamaica's accession to the CCJ remains uncertain. The government and oppositions are currently at odds over constitutional reform. While the government seeks to phrase transition to Republican status, the opposition insists that this move must be paired with a departure from the Privy Council and full accession to the CCJ. Amending entrenched constitutional provisions requires bipartisan support, including at least one opposition senator. Justice Saunders will be honored at the ceremony sitting of the CCJ on Tuesday, marking his retirement after 20 years of service to the regional court. It was important I read the whole thing for us to understand how serious the CCJ is, and that it's time that our own country sign on. And they would have, as they would have noted, we did sign on with Jamaica, so we are legally bound to be members or take our cases there inside the Privy Council. But then I remember the Prime Minister now, Kamala Prasad, saying that the CCJ don't have no Indian or something to that effect, right? So I don't know what will happen. Once they don't have no Indian, I guess, or enough Indians, I guess Trinidad will for no time see it. And when the PNM gets back into office, I think they should look seriously into Trinidad and Tobago using the CCJ rather than the Privy Council, with people who live so far, our former colonial masters. We are a Republican state or independent state. How could we still be going to the Privy Council as our final court of appeal? It makes no sense. So let me continue. I don't know if it's since this thing with no demerit points.
Just nice one, we
I don't know if it's since this government talk about getting rid of the demerit points, something that used to hold people in check, that I don't know, all of a sudden there's accidents and more accidents. I was going to Tobago Saturday morning, and there was a serious accident about after 3 Saturday morning. Now we see report of a whole family, mother, father, daughter, and a friend, got killed in an accident, and there were some others after that. I don't know what's happening. I think this government should rethink this removal of demerit points. If you want to adjust certain things, okay, because in other countries they have it, and it is a safeguard against reckless drivers at the end of the day. So listen to somebody who is speaking about the accident where the mother, father, and I think as a 6-year-old child was killed.
It was as sudden as that, from wondering why their neighbor's vehicle did not return this morning to learning the horrifying reason why via social media. The villagers of Lakpatia Trace in Las Lomas No. 1 are now left pondering the suddenness and finality of death. No longer will Steve or Kizzy Elder wave to them as they pass by on the roadway, and the 6-year-old Janae's life cut short in a mangled wreck along the Sir Solomon Ochoy Highway.
That's a hard one because she's really sweet, a sweet little girl. She's 6. She's always by us playing, very vibrant, jolly little girl. She always calls out to my husband when she's outside. So it really is heart-wrenching that this has happened.
According to the police, around 11:30 on Saturday night, the Elder family and 2 others were along the southbound lane of the highway near Claxton Bay when the driver lost control of the vehicle, sending it careening into a grassy area, causing the car to flip several times. Kizzy, Steve, Janae, and another passenger named Caitlin Wright died as a result. It's prompted the police's traffic and highway patrol branch to reveal that lately they've been responding too often to preventable road traffic collisions where drivers may have been too close to the vehicle in front, driving too fast for conditions, or being distracted by phone use. Just this weekend, 160 drivers were ticketed for not wearing seatbelts. And the neighbor of the Elder family said it may be time for the government to rethink scrapping the demerit point system.
It does not need to be scrapped because it's a measure I mean, it kind of insults a bit of faith in some people who clearly didn't have any regards to life. So I honestly don't think it should be scrapped. Maybe it could be revised, but not scrapped.
Meanwhile, Sharon Inglefield of Arrive Alive lamented what she called the entitlement of drivers on the nation's roadways. Inglefield said reckless drivers use the roadways with impunity. And speaking on the issue of the demerit point system, she said some Trinbagonians still do not understand the correlation between enforcement and feeling the consequences for making poor decisions via the penalty point system. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
So, I don't know. Just telling everybody be very vigilant on the road. Because that accident I told you all about, that car had just passed us speeding. That same car that was in the accident had just passed us speeding. It passed. And as we drive up, we saw a white pan, like a panel van. There's a police vehicle on the right-hand side. And by the time we glance once and we look, so the same car in the middle of the road with the lights blinking, because like I don't know if that car hit the panel and then the panel van, and then as we go up a little more, we have two other cars on the left-hand side now. They two are parties, so apparently it's 1 to 4 cars was involved in this incident. Let me continue. Again, I'm seeing that Madam Camille Robinson-Regis had to come out and have her say, and it is concerning let me tell you quickly. So this was in the Express 13 hours ago. Stop the theatrics, Camille tells government. Former Minister Camille Robinson-Regis has called on the United National Congress, UNC government, to stop the grandstanding and the theatrics and get on with the business of governing. Robinson-Regis issued a statement yesterday, taking the government to task for the claim by Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander that police stations were being used as courts. Yet again, we have the spectacle of the judiciary having to defend itself against deliberate misinformation being peddled by the UNC. This time not by only a minister who seemingly doesn't even know the proper name of his ministry, but whose evidence in court was recently described by the presiding judge as unbelievable, she said. The judiciary has stated quite clearly that police stations have not been converted into courtrooms. However, as a part of its policy in criminal matters, charged persons appear the same day virtually and without the need to be transported to a courthouse. This arrangement does not convert police stations into courtrooms. It just put the accused in front of a computer for a virtual appearance, she added. She noted that for subsequent hearings, including trials, the judiciary has further elaborated that accused persons are to appear from either a prison, if the person is not on bail, a judiciary virtual access center, VACC, some of which are in court buildings, or a courtroom in which the matter is to be heard in person. Robinson-Regis added or said the decision of which the UNC financer stands to benefit from any new transportation arrangement for prisoners has to be asked. Okay, Robinson-Regis said that the question of which UNC financiers stand to benefit from any new transportation arrangement for prisoners has to be asked. Moreover, why do members of this government feel it necessary to apparently mislead the public rather than get on with their job of governing this country? Why does Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander feel it necessary to engage in the theatrics of trivialities rather than get on with the business of making this country safer, she stated. Robinson-Regis said the country will recall in 2015 the current president of the Senate, who was then the Speaker, Wade Mark, of the House, was forced to apologize to the judiciary for deliberately misleading the House. He said then, I also sincerely regret that through my error, it may have appeared that I willfully misled this honorable House for what I most For that, I most respectfully apologize. 10 years later, again, the same government judiciary has stated that unlike what Minister Alexander tried to portray, there are no courts in police station. A complete fabrication by a minister who obviously doesn't know or perhaps doesn't understand what is taking place in the ministry he leads. After a month in office, the government will do well to stop grandstanding and govern instead. The election is over. Please get on with the business of running the country, Robinson Reggie stated. Last Wednesday, Alexander, following a meeting with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Welfare and Social and Welfare Association, stated that one of the most burning questions in the discussion was the issue of virtual courts being held at various police stations. He said he observed that the court of TNT have taken possession of police stations nationwide, and it's something we need to address almost immediately. Since the police were already cramped for space, and there was a need to free up that space to give police officers that added resource to be able to accomplish their goals. However, judiciary defended the practice of having charged individuals appear on the same day virtually and without the need to be transported to the courthouse, stating that this arrangement does not convert police stations into courtrooms, since it just places the accused in front of a computer for a virtual appearance. We tell all you who all you want to be in office, all they take chain up. Or they take chain up. So let me continue. So, again, I'm reading from the Jamaica Gleaner. This was just now. Hi, Legacy. Hi, Valerie. Hi, Delano. Hi, Anton. All the log on. Tell people to come on. Because this big mouth woman going to start to talk just now. You see her talking calm and thing. My voice go raise some octaves just now. Like, ooh, quite up there. So log on. Tell them come on. Tell the PNM people to log on. So this was June the 2nd. Was it June the 2nd? Wait. Where's this thing? If it's not here, where do you think is good? If I see it here, I read it, so I kind of remember what you're talking about. So apparently, I'm not sure if it was an editorial or it was something else. But apparently, in the Jamaica's Gleaner, they would have, okay, just now. Right. So I'm going to read it from here. So in TNT Express, sorry, what did you choose? Right. So this is May 31st. The editorial in the Jamaican Gleaner urging Trinidad and Tobago to abandon its proposed stand your ground laws reeks of hypocrisy, condensation and a disturbing denial of regional reality. I just had was to open it out a little. I'm gonna fix my glasses. I really had to go and get a new pair. While Jamaica is currently reeling from the largest illegal firearm seizure in its history, 233 high-powered weapons and over 50,000 rounds of ammunition hidden in an industrial heater, the immediate dares lecture Trinidad and Tobago, or lecture Trinidad on the dangers of empowering citizens to defend themselves. This is not only irresponsible, it's offensive. Let's be clear. Trinidad and Tobago is a sovereign nation and not a colony of Kingston. We owe Jamaica no policy deference, especially not from a country where the homicide rate remains higher than ours and gun crime is a national emergency. If the gleaner wishes to weigh in on governance, it should start at home, where 695 illegal guns were taken off the streets in just 5 months. It is ironic that the gleaner, that the Jamaican gleaner, warning against stand your ground legislation was published on the same day its front page featured Jamaican largest ever illegal arms and ammunition seizure, a cache so massive that it could arm a military company. If ever there was a moment to pause and reflect before preaching to your neighbor, that was it. A sovereign right to self-defense. The Gleaner editorial implies Trinidadians should accept vulnerability in the face of violent crime and trust in the same failing system that have brought us here, but refuse to be sitting ducks in our own country. Standing ground legislation isn't a call to vigilantism. It is a legal reinforcement of our natural right to self-defense, particularly for women, the elderly, and the vulnerable, who cannot simply retreat when home invaders kick down their doors. I just want to add in this, right? Women, elderly, and the vulnerable. So if the elderly and the vulnerable and women living by themselves, and you give them a gun, and the elderly and the vulnerable, they any match for anybody coming to break. I just ask them, you see the reasons why they want the same to stand the ground? Not all the points are valid, and that is the issue I have here. That what they put here is not a valid reason for standing ground, right? Okay, that's my opinion. The Jamaican law that cite already recognizing justifiable homicide in self-defense, but they offer this as a reason not to strengthen our protection. We have home invasion laws already, but in it, it also states that you could if you could de-escalate the situation or if you could get out of the situation. So it gives you option. It doesn't say that just stand your ground, no matter what. If you could get away, if you could de-escalate, forget all that. Just stand your ground and just shoot. That is what stand your ground laws are saying. And while people are excited and happy to have a gun to defend themselves, that is okay. But you have to understand what this law means, because it might work for you today and then it work against you the next day. Because you might have a rational thought on how you treat with things, and another person may not. So are they going to psychologically evaluate everybody that they're going to give these firearms to defend themselves at home? Because somebody could see you walking in the neighborhood, as I say it again, and somebody said, I choppiness, I talking. No! The reason why I'm not talking choppiness is because we had a pundit who came and said publicly that the urban youth from the East-West corridor is targeting Indians in Arang West. He said that even when it had a Muslim guy was there and others were saying, no, that is not true. The police say there's no data to support that, and he's saying that. So imagine you arm Arang West people, the residents, the Indians in Arang West, businessmen and otherwise, you arm them with firearms who already do, or who have already in half, and you have these standing ground laws. I could foresee African youth. When they say urban youth, you're talking African youth. And they don't say we the face a crime, we the one killing one another, and all that. So, in my opinion, to them, it ain't gonna be nothing. One who look like we, walking in the neighborhood, going about the business, they feel they're frightened, they feel fear, they feel it's going to invade the home, and they just shoot and kill and just ball, it's stand your ground. These things are real scenarios, so nobody don't tell me I'm talking foolishness. You drive down in Westmoreland, your car break down, you're looking for help, they look out, they see a car with 5 black youths, 4 black youths, 2 black youths. They say they feel afraid, they feel threatened because the face of crime is African youth with tattoo. They hear in Ras, they hear Oklot and Kano, they hear Plat and Kano, the vest on, the slipper on the foot. That comment to shoot, whoever it is, shoot that first, when the people could be going about their business normal. So I am asking, is it that they're going to be targeting people of African descent, because they're saying it's people of African descent, all African people who children committing crime and then committing crime. So is it guns now to just target African people as you see them? You say they look scary, they look like they want to do something. You're walking in the road, you just stand up just so you turn around, a person have a gun behind you, they say when they turn around, them feel threatened. You're not on them, them feel threatened, and then I just think these are logical questions I ask. Okay. All who want to say I talking choppiness, I'm glad for it. And I'm not reading no more of this because it ended up what I was saying. It's not what you say, how you say it. So if the gleaner coming out of Jamaica would have told this country, another Caribbean country, a part of CARICOM, hey, be careful with this stand your ground laws all you're putting in place. What that have to do with the amount of guns that Jamaica is taking off the street? In fact, Jamaica is getting the guns off the street to help prevent gun violence. What that has to do with standing ground laws. So why you need to mention that to Jamaica and tell them, stay out of business, you want to have gun crime and you could have said something different. And then when we add the whole Vibes Cartel issue to it, all this silly picture that is being set up here, Jamaicans don't take these things lightly. There's something called diplomacy. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not that it's not true, but again, it's how you phrase it and how you put it. Okay. And all who are excited, stand your ground, come in, they're going to defend themselves. Take care, always not the ones go run and hold all their head and ball and ask the government to stop that law. You see that done away with the demerit points, I want to done with it. People don't start to drive without the seatbelt on already. Or there's so much accident happening already. Okay. Let me move on. So don't lecture us. Okay. Okay. So let me remind you all of something. Hi, Emmeline. Hi, Rena. I saw this as an editorial written by a Michael Edmund Dehani or Dani. And it says here, another reminder, this government has no grasp on serious governance. What exactly is Philip Alexander doing? 1 week he's playing site manager for a construction company that doesn't seem to exist, soliciting personal information from job seekers through unofficial channels. Now he's issuing media releases on matters of national security, acting as though he's some sort of ombudsman rather than a junior minister in a ministry completely unrelated to the issue at hand. This latest missive is not just bizarre, it's reckless. A junior minister with no line responsibility of national security decides to publicly question the actions of a former minister, raise implications about internal payments, and interrogate the police handling of the matter. All through a press release. Is this governance, or it is just one man playing politics with matters well outside his remit? The UNC, for its part, looks either clueless or complicit, with everything spiraling from contradictory statements by ministers to a visible lack of coordination between agencies. Has no one in charge taken stock of the damage being done by those loose cannons approach? Is there anyone in the cabinet who understands what collective responsibility and basic ministerial discipline means? Alexander's behavior suggests someone more concerned with a performance rather than policy. If there are legitimate concerns about Fitzgerald Hines accessing sensitive facilities and collecting payments, those should be pursued through proper investigative channels by the very government Alexander is a part of. But that's not what's happening. Instead, we get self-promoting releases and a PR stunt disguised as transparency. This government has not only blurred the lines between ministerial responsibility and freelancing, it erased them entirely. And in doing so, it weakens trust in public office. If the UNC can't or won't rein in a junior minister who seems more interested in playing talk show host than doing the work of government, then they have no one but themselves to blame when the credibility of the administrations continue to erode. At some point, leadership has to mean more than who can post the loudest or deflect the fastest. Right now, all this noise is making it very clear there's no one steering the ship. And to what the gentleman speak of, there was some conversation, I think I would have heard, if I'm not mistaken, that the Minister of Defense Minister Wayne Surge, again, I'm not sure, somebody could correct me, stating something to the fact that somebody called him, I think he was in Parliament, a meeting in Cabinet or something, somebody called him to let him know that the former Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Hines, is in national security and seeking to have some meeting with senior officers to get some file and some file and some file, right? Then we come to hear that Minister Hines, former Minister Hines of National Security, said he had a check to collect and he went to collect it. He did not go in the building, he went down to the car park with his car and the officer brought the check out to him. That is what it was. So he, I think, may be looking to see what his legal options are, because they're making it seem as though, based on what he's saying, that he went to the national security, went into the office, he don't have clearance to get in there, and he went to get files or some sensitive files and all that. He's saying he went to collect a check. I'm also understanding that 3 senior officers of the ministry were summoned to the office of the Prime Minister, and I think it's related to that matter. I will come to that too. And then I want to say this. It is not unusual that a past employee, whether minister or not, sometimes they have checks that are outstanding or money is outstanding. And when they would have demitted office or retired from the job, they get a call, or they're not working there anymore, they get a call either by the accounts department, and if you're a senior officer, it may be the permanent secretary who will treat you that, because the permanent secretary is the accounting officer of the ministry and runs the ministry, not the minister. And they will call you to come collect the check. What happened most of the time, depending on the status that you held before, you may go into the building, you talk to security because you don't work there anymore, you're working somewhere, so you have retired. So you tell the security, and the security either call upstairs, downstairs, wherever, and the person come to you, bring whatever it is, or they tell the security escort you upstairs. If you're on a higher level, I have seen permanent secretary either send out a senior officer that could give the person whatever, the check, whatever it is, because those things are personal issues. If the garage is down. It's not on the flat like the building, but it's down, like, not underground, you know what I mean. The former minister driving with his vehicle, he wouldn't park on the road and come out and let a senior officer come out on the road and hand him something, because that will even make it look at it as something. You understand the point I'm making? So there's nothing wrong. You're going in the car park, and a senior officer, because he was the minister, so you'll give him that respect, and you bring the check for him. I don't understand why this has reached to this point. I hear somebody and really talking about protocol, and they should have told the minister that Fitzgerald Hines come. What the permanent secretary had to call the minister of the ministry to tell them somebody coming to collect the check? The minister does not run the ministry. It is the permanent secretary has to do that. If it's anything, and that officer comes to collect the check, and the permanent secretary is not there, then the officers have to inform the permanent secretary that former so-and-so or former head of this or so-and-so officer came to collect the check, and we give them it. Because the permanent secretary is the accounting officer. So I am more inclined to believe what Fitzgerald Hines says, because I've seen it happen before. And then it will be for a man like Fitzgerald Hines to know he is no longer the minister, he doesn't have clearance, to decide he walking into the ministry or going out in the car park and summoning senior officers, public officers, to come to have a meeting with him and to bring confidential files. That will be reckless of him, and even more reckless of the public officers to do that, because those things could land you lost in your work. So that's why I don't believe that is what happened. That's my opinion, I'm saying. Another thing, being summoned to the Prime Minister office, I think that is a scare tactic, because anybody to deal with public officers is the Public Service Commission. Any type of talking down and tinging is the Service Commission and the Commission on them. So if it's reaching now, where the Prime Minister could call public officers and reprimand them or want to see them immediately and all that, we going down a slippery slope. Eh? Okay. So let me continue. So I see Dr. Rowley had to come out and there are two stories on it, but I will only do one today and I'll do the other one. I'll do the other one on Wednesday. So this one here was 2 days ago. And Dr. Rowley would have said it's on his page. He said, whether I am in retirement or not, the whole country, and I dare say the world, know that I was the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago between 2015, September 9th, 2025, March 16. And as such, I lead the cabinet and have responsibilities. I led the cabinet and have responsibilities for the decision made by the PNM administration during that period. I have been trying very hard to stay out and away from the decisions and narrative of today's regime, but the daily data of misinformation and outright untruths forced me to intervene in order to protect the record and to prevent any self-serving revision of the facts. 1. The UWI Davie campus. University of the West Indies is not a government department, but instead is a regional institution governed by a charter and is headquartered at Mona, Jamaica, where all aspects of the regional university funding and operations are discussed beforehand and approved upfront by the Senate University Grants Committee. The creation and expansion of facilities have been done on many occasions in our various territories except for the Davie campus. None has ever descended into acrimony, bacchanal, and lies about paternity. The reason being the Davie campus was gifted to the university in the form of infrastructure for a law faculty, which has since morphed into a full campus, including medical school, without the sustainable, substantial funding to cover intake and operations as trumpeted by the midwife of this adventure. Government struggle to fund St. Augustine campus and UTT is a public information embodied in the national budget. The same cannot be said for the new Davie faculty, which came into being without the proper procedures and, more importantly, funding arrangements. Thus, the period 2015 to 2019 was the worst possible time for the university to look to the government to prioritize funding for territorial expansion when national revenues fell from 50 billion to 38 billion. This became a financial struggle and burden upon the university, which could only have looked to the government for help. As if that was not bad enough, up came COVID-19 and the deleterious effects 2019 to 2022 and beyond. During the pandemic, as part of the operations and management of the emergency, through the parallel health system, the government with the cooperation of UWI incorporated some of the infrastructure of Davie. Thus, the history of this faculty can be shown as described to have nothing to do with racism, government deliberate neglect, and abandonment of politics. It has everything to do with its unique concept of birth and the unfortunate confluence of the funding needs and its unique arrangement within a struggling UE. In fact, the current Attorney General, outside of the current Tomb of Resurrection, was very vociferous in his opposition to the spawning of another law school within the territory of Trinidad and Tobago. If I am to quote, "A building does not a law school make, but is what the university allocation and faculty can sustain." 2. Tobago autonomy. The Prime Minister is seeking to demonstrate the seriousness of prioritizing her relationship with Chief Secretary Fali Chavez Augustine and Tobago's autonomy issue said, bills have been brought to the Parliament and they lapse. In referring to the last action of the Parliament, this is a blatant untruth generated to feed significant misinformation being sold in Tobago in preparation for a campaign of untruths that is already taking shape in Tobago. The truth is that two bills generated by widespread consultation in Tobago were brought to the Parliament without any revision or abridgment and were subjected to detailed and lengthy professional attention by a joint select committee of Parliament. As at final stages, both bills were put to a vote. One of the bills, with measures of increased autonomy, administrative structure, and improved finances, was voted upon and passed, but only the PNM majority voted for it. The UNC did not support these measures. The other bill, which was an amendment to the Constitution, was required to bring into effect the measures which were passed in the first bill. It was voted upon and was supported by the PNM. The UNC and the public support for the Chief Secretary did not support it. And since this amendment required a special majority, this bill was defeated in the House. It was not a case of any bill being made to lapse. It was a recorded case of a vote taken. The UNC withheld its votes, and the Tobago Autonomy Bill was thus defeated. It must also be said that when these bills were being debated and created in Tobago, the then Chief Secretary over London could not get a meeting with the then Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. It took the coming into being of the PNM government, which I led, to open the door, receive the bills, take them to Parliament, subject them to parliamentary scrutiny, and put that product to a vote, which in the end only the PNM supported. Therefore, I will not sit and watch the country historical record being distorted as if we are all asleep. 3. School building program. With respect to the misinformation that the PNM government shut down the school building program, I leave the facts of that 2.4 billion challenge to be described and presented by the PNM when it chooses to be in the opposition. The necessary facts are all there. We face up to problems, fix them, others create problems and lie about them. It is important that this is read because this opposition is really nothing. Right? So let me continue. So, people, as I say again on a chat, and I tell what I wouldn't say, which chat it is, I just make my comments. I don't disrespect nobody, I ask questions. But apparently, the questions I ask and the things I say is a reflection to some people, so they see themselves in it, so they get horrors. Here, one of them right back in a response to me. The reckless self-loathing in this group is not acceptable, responding to me. It is one thing to be critical in a constructive manner, but to be deliberately misleading and downright nasty because you have a platform or a big mouth, or you're just big and you're bad, is unacceptable, and I'm calling on all to stop it immediately. I want to tell the sister who write that, look at yourself when you're talking about who feel the bad. Look at yourself. Because I don't run down nobody to beat them. I'm going to vomit down myself. Check yourself before you start to talk, because you seem to have more self-loathing than me. And the questions I ask, you'll be surprised to see that there are plenty of people asking them questions. And yes, my mouth big, because I'm pretending I'm talking from a ni, and when time comes, I like a blasted clothespin. Squeeze my head and my leg fly open, click. So yes, my mouth big. But the words that has come out my mouth is things about equal right and justice. Me and no post office. I don't get all the mails. Me and no post box neither. Nobody don't push mails in it. So when all they want to tell people things, because all they feel, all they know it all, and all they just click. And all they feel, all is in your PNM. Let me tell you, let's something, or let's setting up, or let's self for failure. So let me continue. There is this proverb. It is called a head dog will holler. It is a metaphorical expression suggesting that people who feel personally attacked or guilty will react defensively. It implies that a strong reaction to a statement suggests the statement applies to a person complaining. Here's a detailed breakdown on the metaphor. The image of a dog being hit and then barking is used to represent someone being accused or criticized. The hollering is a defense mechanism indicating that the person feels the accusation applies to them. So when I put up my post, I don't put people's name wherever. I just put my thing, but all they just tag me so I know they're talking about me. Because if you tag my comment, it means you're talking about my comment. And if I make a comment and then you respond to it after, and I put you responding to it. So that is what all is. Herd dogs or hit dogs does holler, holler. A head dog will holler is a colloquial expression that highlights the human tendency to react defensively when we feel, or they feel, or she feel attacked, or when something we do is being questioned. You hear that? So I question them, they having a problem. So they say not the one and the two. It's about three of them. Just come out always online. All I simply asking, where's the membership list? Has it been audited? All that set of bullshit talk ain't going nowhere. But I want to tell them about the click. About click. And take this in the context of a political party. So even if I say workplace, which can apply also to a political party because there are people who work in there and that kind of thing, right? But think political party. Workplace cliques are exclusive groups can negatively impact on the organization in several ways. They can hinder inclusivity, collaboration, and innovation, and can even lead to a decline in overall morale and productivity. Cliques can also impact decision-making and foster a toxic environment. Barriers to inclusivity and inclusion and exclusion and feeling left out. Cliques are often create a sense of exclusivity, leaving individuals outside the group feeling excluded, underappreciated, or even ostracized. And that is what they're doing now. Once you have a voice and you're talking out in this dispensation here, and this executive here now at the PNM, they have a problem. They want to ostracize you, to tell you about your mouth big on your platform and you feel you bad. Don't say nothing. Or they keep quiet. Just take it. But when all they was complaining and saying, or they was keeping quiet about Dr. Rowley, and what are they doing now? If all the things what they say, Dr. Rowley do it and do this and this. No, nobody mustn't talk about nothing. Hindrance to collaboration and communication. Soil information or solid information. Cliques can create information silos, preventing the free flow of ideas. That is what they're doing now. They have a clique and they're preventing the information from flowing. It's around them alone, and they're giving you what you want to, what them want to tell you, and you mustn't say nothing. Prevents a free flow of ideas, solution, and feedback, which can hinder innovation and problem solving, reduce open communication. Members outside the clique may feel intimidated to share their ideas or voice concern due to fear of ridicule or being marginalized. Cliques can lead to groupthink, where members are less likely to challenge ideas or generate new ones, stifling creativity and innovation. It's a us versus them mentality. Cliques can foster an us versus them mentality, creating unhealthy competition and conflict, which can negatively impact teamwork and productivity. Employees outside the clique may feel less motivated to contribute to the team or the organization if they feel their input is not valued. fairness and bias. If leadership positions are held by clique members, they may exhibit favoritism, leading to biased decision-making processes and undermining fairness. When cliques dominate, diverse perspectives are limited, and the organization will miss out on valuable insights and innovation. Cliques often engage in gossip and drama, creating a tense and unproductive workplace environment. Yeah? They want to talk about this. I can see somebody possibly up to yesterday, they didn't have no list, but don't ask nothing. So people go in and vote. And ain't know if the name there, who name there, who should name should come out. Nothing at all. But they're studying me. Miss Lady, you're studying me. Your character could be held up for scrutiny, Miss Lady. You're studying me. Watch your reflection and see if you like what you see. Everything turning up and turning wrong. Wait. So today was nomination day and people went out. It's their right to go out. It is their right to go out and be nominated for a position on the executive of the People's National Movement. That is the right. If they choose to go into that process where no membership list is provided, no audit, nothing, and then feel comfortable in that, I'm happy for them. I see what that does do because I see PSA elections. Several PSA elections, that same thing, can't get the list, can't see the list, the General Secretary of PSA ain't do the work. And days after they counting small votes, and then they hear who win and who win and all kind of back and out. So let they continue. So today, because all the time we're talking about the opposition leader, the Honorable Penelope Beckers-Robinson, I don't know, people don't understand there's a term called chewing gum and speaking at the same time. Meaning that even if you're close to well, some people can't do it, but me, even though you're close to a problem or a situation, it does not mean that you can step back and look at it critically. If some people can't do that, that's a business, I could do that. So because we have been speaking about the opposition leader, Mrs. Penelope Beckers-Robinson, not because people ain't like she, because she's a nice lady, very friendly, but because some people like myself and others just don't feel she has what it takes to take the PNM to the next level. And it is because we have never seen her done anything. I keep asking people, tell me what she has done. When she was at the different ministries, what did she do? What memorable conversation she had? What talk, something. Everybody just keep telling me over and over, she's a nice lady and she has been there for years and she deserves it. That is not a good reason for a party that is in opposition with 13 seats, losing 9 seats, to tell me the person to take over now is somebody who nice, have been there for years, and people like she, and they treat she bad, and against a UNC who Dr. Rowley had to come out again to defend the government that she was a part of. Everybody coming out and defend. Mrs. Camille Robinson had to come out and defend. You're not hearing nothing from the opposition leader at all. And conversation is, some people are saying, I don't know how true, waiting until she become the political leader and then she go talk. So by the time she become the political leader, I don't know if she going back to talk about all them things we go on all them time. So when she go get time, because they have parliament, thing coming, bill coming, this coming. I don't know what this is about. So I'm saying this. So we have been saying, let me say me, right? I have been saying on my platform where I have a big mouth and I feel like bad, that I don't think that the opposition leader has what it takes. And I feel people chaining she up, and because it's her dream to be political leader and prime minister, she don't give a flying hoots. That's my opinion. So today, they put on a show. I call it the Penny Pappy Show. The Penny Pappy Show. With Tassa Drum and this and crowd and all kind of lily. That was a Pappy show. That's my opinion. Because the circumstances still don't change. Okay, who come out? The whole of Trinidad could have come out in that Pappy show. The conversation remained the same. She does not, in my opinion, has the ability to take the people's national movement anywhere. Don't care how much people come out, how much people kiss she, how much drum play, how much casa beat, how much of flag, whatever it is. It could have people all around Balize house and join back. It could have people who are still in Tong and the line from Tong coming up. It could have whatever, flying this, it could have people on Moko Drumby, it could have Cinderella, it could have whatever. That is a penny Pappy show. Because the salient point is the same person who that I am saying is not ready, in my opinion, based on what I see. I can only go what I see. I don't know personally. Nothing has changed. So let me tell you what they're just doing and prolonging, and probably it's because people have personal interest in this thing. That's my opinion. So there's something called the dead horse theory. I was reading it was published January 20th, 2025 by M. Salman Majid. The dead horse theory is a metaphorical framework emphasizing the importance of recognizing when an endeavor is no longer viable and understanding the need to move on. Whether in business, personal relation, or life in general, it teaches us to stop wasting resources on pursuits that no longer brings results, while seemingly humorous. This theory has deep roots in psychology, economics, and practical management. What does it really mean? It originates from an old native saying, and this is the saying: when you discover you are riding a dead horse, the best strategy is to dismount. This simple phrase serves as a metaphor for a situation where people or organizations continue to put effort into something that is clearly failing. The dead horse symbolizes an endeavor to be a project, strategy, relationship, or process that has lost its purpose or viability. Rather than admitting defeat, many people and organizations tend to whip the dead horse, hoping it will somehow come back to life. This behavior not only wastes time and resources, but also prevents growth and innovation. As Peter Drucker, the father of modern management, wisely said, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. And that's what we saw there today. Very efficient when the people come out, it look good. That's why I'm saying again, me dubbing it the Penny Pappy Show. Why do people keep riding a dead horse? Letting go of something that is no longer working seems logical, but human psychology often gets in the way. Here are the key psychological and behavioral reasons why people and organizations persist with dead horses. 1, the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy refers to the tendency to continue investing in something because of the resources already spent, even when it is clear that further investment will not yield positive results. Example, they give an example. And why it happens, they give why. Loss aversion. People fear losses more than they value gains of equal magnitude. This bias makes them avoid admitting failure or giving up, even when doing so will be beneficial in the long run. They give another example. The business leader Warren Buffett once said, the most important thing to do if you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. Then we have ego and pride. For leaders, managers, or individuals in decision-making roles, admitting failure can feel like a personal blow to their reputation or credibility. So I'll read the example in this one. A project manager refuses to cancel a failing initiative because they fear it will reflect poorly on their own leadership skills. Why it happens? Ego. Ego can cloud judgment, leading people to prioritize how they are perceived over making rational choices. Hope and optimism bias. Hope is a powerful motivator, and that is what they had outside there today. They hope. But excessive optimism can lead to denial of reality, and that is what is going to lead to for all of them who was out there. People may continue believing that success is just around the corner despite evidence to the contrary. All the evidence is there to show. All the evidence is there to show. Why is Miss Penelope Beckers Robinson putting herself through this? And why are people... Anyway. Hope provides emotional comfort, making it difficult to accept harsh realities. 5, cultural and organizational norm. In workplaces, a culture of fear or rigidity can prevent people from addressing the dead horse. Employees may hesitate to challenge the status quo, while leaders may avoid making bold decisions. Common reaction to dead horse, whipping the dead horse harder. They whip that today like they never whipped it before in that Penny Pappy Show, my opinion. This means doubling down on the effort, resources, or pressure, hoping to somehow fix the situation. It's like trying to squeeze water from a dry sponge. Changing the rider. Organization often replace the person in charge, thinking a new leader can resolve the problem, while leadership change can help. It don't address the root cause if the horse is truly dead. Giving the same failing initiative to a new name or packaging can create the illusion of progress, but it rarely solves the fundamental problem. That Pappy Show. Prolonged action by conducting endless analysis and meetings can stall decision-making and waste even more resources. Rather than accepting responsibility, people must shift blame to external circumstances like the big mouth woman who has she platform. I am not the problem. Such as market condition and competition, recognizing a dead horse. How can you identify when you're dealing with a dead horse? Here are some signs to watch. Repeated failures, declining interests, misaligned costs and benefits, resistance to change. I'm going to read one more. The cost of riding a dead horse. One of the most significant consequences of persisting with a failing endeavor is the sheer wastage of valuable resources. This includes financial investment, human effort, and the time spent attempting to revise something that simply won't work. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example and I'm done with that. Imagine a company, again, let me think of P&M, continuing to pump money into a failing project, a product. You know what the product is? Marketing campaign are intensify and research and development are pushed harder. The Penny Pappy Show today. And staff are forced to work overtime in an attempt to fix flaws. Despite these efforts, the product fails to gain traction in the market. The funds and time spent on this product could have been redirected to a new, more promising innovation. Then you have employee burnout and frustration. Continuing to push for results in an obviously failing initiative can lead to significant demoralization amongst employees. Loss of focus on opportunity, persisting with a dead horse, diverts attention from new opportunities, while an organization clings to a failing initiative. Its competitors may seize the opportunity to innovate and capture market space. Who is the market space? The people at Trinidad and Tobago. Reputational damage. Continue to support a failing initiative can also harm an organization's reputation. Stakeholders, customers, and even the public may begin to see the company as ineffective, out of touch, or resistant to change. Then have financial collapse. And lessons from the dead horse theory. The dead horse theory offers several valuable lessons and can be applied to both personal and professional contexts. And I'm just going to read this from Winston Churchill. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So learn to let go. Focus on opportunity cost. Embrace flexibility and adaptability. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. Charles Darwin. Avoid emotional decision making. Learn from failure. Then Nelson Mandela, the great Nelson Mandela Mandela said, the greatest glory in living lies in not never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Okay? Conclusion, knowing when to dismount, the dead horse theory is not just a humorous metaphor, but a profound lesson in decision making, resource management, and personal growth. Persisting with a dead horse may feel like a way to avoid loss, but in reality, it often leads to even greater losses. So Anne-Marie Rajmacha says, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I'll try again tomorrow. It said, by recognizing the signs of a failing endeavor, accepting reality, and redirecting energy to more promising opportunities, individuals and organizations can thrive in an ever-changing world. Success doesn't come from never failing. It comes from knowing when to stop, learn, and start anew. Remember, letting go is not defeat. It is a step towards progress. Are you ready to dismount? So having said that, there was a lot of conversation about Minister Stuart Young and whether or not he would take part. In what I say and continue to say, in my opinion, based on what we're seeing, it appears to be a rigged process. So Stuart Young put out a release and he says, I would like to sincerely thank the thousands of people who have communicated with me over the past few weeks, offering support, well wishes, encouragement, and even advice as to my future. Thank you all. I have taken the time immediately after the results of the general election to engage in personal reflection and, importantly, to observe the conduct of people, particularly those who seek positions that carry responsibility. After considered reflection, as well as discussions with my family and loved ones, I have concluded that it is not in the best interests of the party for me to seek a position in the new executive. Accordingly, at this juncture, I will not be seeking a post in the PNM's internal elections. Be assured that I will continue to fulfill my duties and responsibilities to my constituents as an elected member of parliament, to the country that I love and represent, and to my party, the PNM. I will hold the government to account and will continue to fight for what is best for Trinidad and Tobago. Time is longer than twine, and I pray that God continues to guide me on my journey. Yours in continued service, Stuart R. Young, SC, MP, June the 2nd, 2025. I want to tell my member of parliament who I support, much respect. Much respect. And before I go, I want to play this. John Ross, it's my birthday today. Okay, we got to read that just now. I will be blocking all my PNM posts. Happy birthday. So, they must see a jump on to hear what I had to say, the big mouth woman, what I had to say. I say what I had to say and I could say it again. I don't talk with water in my mouth. Right? When I put up my post and all the chat, instead of getting all personal in it, because all the reflection what she's showing in my comments, look at what I am saying and see how it could be addressed. And ask all yourself, who again thinking as I thinking? Answer the questions that people ask, so they're not doing that. And as for this black elite party, I continue to say that is not going to last in this country. Because first of all, PNM was never no black elite party. Yes, people who voted for the PNM and continue to vote for the PNM are largely people of African descent. But that does not make the PNM a black party. No black party can exist in a cosmopolitan country where we have diverse religion, diverse spirituality, diverse, people of different sexual orientation, different economic, socioeconomic, and all that. is a diverse society. So you can have one thing wanting to represent the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. It can't work. And all who had the fears as Stuart Richard Young and continue to sprout this idea is Dr. Ronnie who bringing Stuart Young and force we and we, and because of that why we vote. What the ask all they doing to people? Not the same thing, all they forcing people on people. People get rejected by their constituents. Doesn't that say something? And not by 1 vote and 2 votes. But yet, the esteemed and honorable opposition leader see fit to bring back these people. That is her choice. But people watching on, and the same people now going up for posts in the internal election. How they looking to people? So when people talk, nobody mustn't say nothing, because I don't know if who benefited or not. I don't know what it is. But you all have to look at the reality of things. People are talking. It may not be people in general council or with PNM members, but people are talking because when it's time to vote, it's not only PNM people alone are looking to vote for, or to vote for PNM. It's people that attract people to come to the PNM. Any young people, just because I feel all from this elite thing, from Heliconia and Ting, that means that all they could pull the average youth in the PNM. So is this going to be this elitist party where if you don't have a master's to start off with, or a bachelor's to start off with, or you didn't go convent, or you didn't go bishops, or you didn't go one of those prestigious school that you can't be a part? Is that what they're trying to tell people? So a junior sec won't be accepted, a trade school person won't be accepted, a person who didn't go to school won't be accepted, or a Rasta ain't gonna be accepted, or a Bobo ain't gonna be accepted, or a 12th tribe, or a Muslim, or a Hindu, or a 7th-day, or spiritual Baptist, or Risha. That's what they're telling people. Or the atheists. What are they telling people? About elite and neat. Let me just play this as I leave.
Is really a predetermined result being engineered. Do you agree with Mr. Ford? Yes.
In other words, they're setting it up.
Yeah, they're setting up the results.
Yeah.
Let's get your live responses. Good
Yes,
morning.
Paula, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Yes.
I do not agree with Mr. Ford. And let me tell you, fellas like Ashton Ford and Freddie Ferrer and these guys, I have a lot of respect for them, for their experience and the knowledge of the party, the institutional knowledge and so on. But these guys stuck in a time warp. And they want to keep the PNM in 1962. I do not agree with that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yes, caller, good morning.
Dinosaurs, you call them.
Hello, caller,
Good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning. I want to give the support to Mr. Ford in this way, because as far as he's concerned, he will not get the outcome or the participation that is expected in a PNM convention when the elections are coming. So in this instance, I would agree with Mr. Ford.
Thank you, caller.
This one, you're going with Ford. Let's take another call. 622-3937. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I would say 100% yes. They are now starting to expose themselves in certain ways. And by the way, Tony, AI girlfriend actually caused the death of a teenager, encouraged him to commit suicide. And they are now looking to press charges on the organizer of that. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, kind of crazy thing.
Okay, all right. We can talk about it one good day. It's just stuff that's being published all over the place.
Yeah.
Let's take another opinion. 622-3937. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony and Dale.
Yeah.
I agree with Mr. Ford 1,010% yes.
1,010%.
Very much. You know,
All right.
one person on this is what WhatsApp or Facebook said it makes no sense. Apparently, and I've heard this before, PNMites should be concerned, according to what the gentleman is saying. PNMites should be concerned that the election results, apparently it's going to come some time off.
Yeah, you're right. So
you don't get
today's
it.
nomination, they are the 22nd, the vote, and then 1 week later, the results will be made known at a meeting. So the voting actually concludes on the 22nd.
Yeah.
And they have to tabulate the results. And then after that is done, I think about 7 days later. I think I'm correct.
Why should it take so long?
We are asking me.
I'm wondering out loud.
Call Masai Sai.
Well, Masai Sai is not in any position.
Well, by tonight he will be the chair. Well, no, at the end of the month. At the end of the month. Okay.
Know that.
Yes, oppose or unopposed? Well, they won't even know.
We probably won't.
So for the next few weeks, we have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
Wow.
That's why I find that to be a little.
Okay, let's take a last one. 6223937. Good morning.
Morning, Tony and you. Let me be realistic. In any major internal elections with two major parties, there's a build-up nationally, interest, and a crescendo coming down, knowing who are the candidates, may they be in opposition or in government. And PNM being the formidable force that there is, for this to be so low-key and hush-hush, you don't know who are the candidates and stuff, obviously there's something to hide, and there's a predetermined outcome. PNM, black fundamentalists have took the PNM backwards, and they're going to pay the political price because they are turning off a lot of people. Think about it.
I want to agree with you to a significant point, because even when the UNC and always hear who going up against who, and a couple of days before, in this case, and I'm absolute without contradiction, you have no idea outside of the two persons who made themselves publicly clear that they're going up for respective positions in Mrs. Beckles-Robinson and Mr. Masai Sai. Other than that, nobody outside of, again, a select group of people, I suppose. The PNM diehards have no idea who's going up here. Think about it. This is to run the party for the next, let's say, whatever, let me say 5 years. And you have no idea who's going up for what.
Well,
I think I think the last caller, I like the concept of the last caller, so I'll go along with him. I like
Mr. Ford.
Yeah, I think, normally, I could be wrong, but sitting here for so long, normally there's a build-up, who going up.
Let me tell you, I find it's suspicious, a bit suspicious.
Nobody knows.
And therefore, it seems to me like there is an attempt by some in the party to roll back some of the progress made when it comes to transparency.
Well, this can't be. This is
can't call this
transparency.
At least from my viewing. So I'm going to go with the 71% this morning. 71% say Mr. Ford is right. That there appears to be some attempt to jimmy the thing, to bring a certain outcome, to have certain people in positions. Mr. Ford is saying that, and I agree with him from where we stand. We could be dead wrong.
We'll see eventually.
And I'm sure many of you sycophants are saying, they may know what they're talking about, right? The party is transparent. The party is the most democratic party in the world. They ain't taking we on. So, but I'm going with the 71% for now. 29% say they do not agree with Mr. Ford and Mr.
Ferreira. Dinosaurs. 1962.
And they still think they're 1962 and all that. All kind of old thing they call it all here. But 29% say they do not agree with Mr. Ford, and 71% say yes, they do.
Right? That's what people are saying. 71% agree with Mr. Ford and Freddie Ferreira that this thing looking kind of fishy. Well, I added my votes by 72. So, let me see how that go. I want to tell my member of parliament that he has my support in whatever decision he makes in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago. What is the right thing? I right there, because I know he's a man. In my interaction with him, has always been on the up and up when it comes to how he interact with people and constituents constituency, has always been there for the constituents, work in the constituency. What you get is what you see. What you see is what you get. And I think he did the right thing by staying out of this bacchanal and confusion. Let it Penny Pappy Show. Let it continue. They want power, let they get power. I hope when the crown rests on people's head, the neck could hold the weight. And all our problem with what I saying, then it's because all they're watching all their self, and the words I say now, they're getting horrors with all their self. So little missy. I have a platform, and I feel bad, and my mouth big. I prefer my mouth to be big. I know walk in, walk out, walk in, walk out, walk in, walk out. Me don't disrupt households. I don't have other women in distress because I like what is mine. I don't watch what people have. I'm always somebody. I like my own thing. I don't like people thing. So I see John Ross, your birthday is today, so we can do get a little something now before I count everybody.
I feel like to sing. 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 Sing happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday. Sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to. One more time, let it go. Sing happy birthday to. Oh my God! Happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday. Sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
My God! Hey, Russ! So happy and strong. You, Russ, what's the first name? I can't remember it. I just said happy birthday to you. All those who have birthdays this month, just put it up, shout it out. This is my birthday song. We will rock it. Love you all always. Auntie Grace in Tobago, I meet she Saturday. Love you, darling. She called me a big. I go hug she up and think, I get some Tobago love. Auntie Grace. I know you must be watching on Facebook. Somebody go tell you I called you Auntie Grace from up in Mason Hall. I was up in Mason Hall. Good evening, darling. You and your friends and them. So people, I said what I said. I mean what I said. And we will see how it goes. But only don't give up hope. Stay vigilant. At the end of the day, we know the People's National Movement is the only party to take this country out of the morass and the bacchanal and the mainland confusion. This UNC is going to leave this country. Soon we're going to see some kind of diplomatic faux pas between Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. I kid you not. People, all what they're collecting and gas and thing now is not Rudal Munilan hard work. It's not the UNC hard work. It's the hard work of Stuart Richard, Young SC, under the People's National Movement to the leader, transformational leader, Dr. K. Christopher Rowley. Right now, the PNM is only a month and something. They're still going through the shift so. People feel they could lead who's setting up so and who's setting so and who's saying so. And they know very well the person they're pushing don't have the ability. But at the end of the day, we go see them in Parliament. You know, everybody go see in Parliament and people go say, oh God, no. Wait. You can't change a dead horse. And I mean it metaphorically. And if you say you're waiting for something to do better in there, well, then you're done damn deceitful. Because we're supposed to be seeing them qualities all now. Don't wait till you reach it to show me nothing. Do it all now. And you haven't been doing it. So let golam. Let the Penny Pappy Show continue. That is my phrase. I'm coining it, I'm taking it. Because penny don't bound to mean somebody. It has something called penny. It has cent. It has 5 cents, 10 cents, dollar. Cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, dollar. Anyway, people, let me see all who here. So to Monica, Kim, Laurel, Gloria, Diane, Helen, Andrew, Winetta, Constance, Sherry, Faustina, Lucy, Rudolph, Gretel, Hansel and Gretel. I hope your brother name is not Gretel, because you'll give me the bejeebies. I'll be scared as hell. Hansel and Gretel, that movie wasn't. imaginations. I have an active imagination. I'm into drama and art, and get your kids into drama and art. Get them reading. Get the kids reading. Pearl, Dr. Lloyd Strick. Hello, I have a doctor on board. I'll show you as his page. Is it medical or page? I don't know. But Dr. Straker, thank you, sir. Karen Rudfin, Paula Errol, Judy, Andre, Brian. Wait now, Dr. Straker, you come to hear this big mouth? I'm honored. Lynette, Rhonda, Prince, Eric, Joe, Nandi, Kathleen, Anne-Marie, Gloria, Cara, Patricia, Claire, Winston, Herbert, Roxanne, Joel, Verlene, Phyllis, Christopher, Patricia, Lenore, Philomene, Shirley, Lorna, Simone's, hello, Sandra, Jocelyn, Sandra again, Shamila, Vanessa, Angela, Janet, Cecilia, Angela, Yvette, Ophelia boys. You have family? No. That won't be in Tobago. You have family to go Martin, Ophelia? Hazel, Delano, Hadara, Marie, Caroline, Anton, Emmeline, Ingrid, Brian, Carwin, Jean-Marie. I want to thank you for saying lockdown, Julie. Why I only keep saying facts or something? Let me tell you the thing. Again, I tell you, all them who beaten their roster, so they continue. I'm happy for them. That is their choice. But you can't get life into that, metaphorically speaking, of course. And to the one who find I have a big mouth, I have a platform. Yes, my mouth big. I prefer my mouth to be big so I could talk the words, talk the truth and thing. Then the next part big, we think, hey, don't get talk if you can't take talk, because I could take talk, because I just get talk. Though I say it again, Miss Lady, don't get talk if you can't take talk, because I could get talk and I could take talk. Leave me alone, Miss Lady. I am not the problem in the PNM. Because nothing I say in here is bringing disrepute to nobody. I'm asking questions and all the chat. Just answer it or leave it alone. That's what I'm saying. Don't be telling me things because you can't take talk. Yeah? You can't take off no shoes and beat me. You can't take off no shoes and hit me. Yeah? Because as a person, I don't get myself in no physical tussle with nobody. I'm not on that. Equality and justice, truth is I love at the end of the day. I love you as a sister, but check yourself, Miss Lady. Check yourself. I love you all. Love you all, love you all. See you all on Wednesday. God's when I come with something fresh, something new. This is Girl Ginger, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. If you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick. And I'll lead the show, we talk everything. Nothing I said here must be considered as anything, no physical nature, anything. People who know me by now. I speak. If my words bring disaffection to you, check yourself. But again, I say to that sister, check yourself. Don't get talk if you can't take talk. You can't bully me. And I don't try to bully nobody, right? It's a love. Check yourself, darling. Check yourself. Check yourself. And again, the Penny Pappy Show continues. See you all on Wednesday. God spare God. And to my member of Parliament, Stuart Richard, you have enough respect. Enough respect. I'm gone.
You're making yourself a Pappy Show, Melda. You're making yourself a bloody clown. Up and down the country looking for Obia. And your perspiration smells so strong. Well, girl, you only wasting time. Obia wedding bells don't chime. And you can't trap me with negromancy.